magical star beings, this is Psychic Siren Tarot, your favorite tarot reader, and welcome to the channel. In today's reading, we're going to be taking a look at how he feels about you compared to previous women. I'll try to be as accurate as I can, but it is a bit tricky when reading for the collective. If you want something more personal, you can always check in with a psychic for a more in-depth description. Speaking of which, I tried a clairvoyant from Psychic Source, and yes, they're sponsoring today's video. Thank you, Psychic Source. I got matched with a clairvoyant through their site, and honestly, I wasn't expecting her to be that accurate. I gave her no personal info, just asked about my future love life, and somehow she instantly picked up that I'm already in a relationship. She literally said, "Why are you asking about the future without mentioning him?" I was literally speechless, but then I remembered that's kind of what I do too. Still a shocking experience to be on the receiving end of it. She described my future partner as someone who makes me really happy, with great communication and bond that can handle anything. But the part that really stuck with me, she said she saw my future husband giving me purple flowers. A few weeks later, nothing happened, so I kind of forgot about it. Then we saw a tattoo promo on Instagram. My boyfriend sent me his ideas so I can book, and boom, a purple flower. Not a bouquet, but I'm definitely taking that as a sign. You can chat with gifted advisors however you're most comfortable. Phone, video, or even text. Setting up my account on their website was super easy, and they have this quick little quiz that helps you find a psychic based on what you're looking for, whether it's love, past lives, energy readings, whatever. It made the whole process really personal and intentional. What sets them apart is the level of care and integrity. Only 2% of their applicants actually become advisors, so you know you're speaking to someone who's truly gifted and held to high ethical standards. And they back everything up with a no-risk guarantee. If you're not happy with your last paid reading, it's free. For a limited time, you can use my code Siren at psychicsource.com when checking out, or you can just click the link in my description box below at trypsychicsource.com/siren. You'll get up to 40 minutes with an advisor for just $19.80. That's up to a $240 value. You don't have to use it all in one session. You can spread those minutes out across multiple advisors to see who you truly resonate with. They also donate 1% of your purchase to charity at no extra cost to you. Oh, and yes, I do get paid for this promo, so when you sign up with Psychic Source, you're feeding a perpetually hungry, slightly dramatic psychic, that would be me, and funding my next impulsive crystal purchase. As you can see, the channel needs some new crystals, but that's all for now. Thank you again to Psychic Source for sponsoring today's video. So getting back to your pile selection, as you can see in the thumbnail, I've listed zodiac signs for each pile. You can either pick based off your zodiac sign, his zodiac sign, or you can pick based off what card or crystal you're most drawn to, just depending what you want to pick, or you can pick both. So for pile 1, we have the Howlite crystal with the Queen of Cups. For pile 2, we have Super 7 with the Moon. And for pile 3, we have Mookite with the 10 of Swords. So take a look at the piles we have here. Pick your pile, and I'm going to give you a few seconds. Pick one. So once you're done picking a pile, please find your timestamps for your pile in the description box below. Then I'll see you at your reading. Hi pile 1, if you chose the Howlite crystal and the Queen of Cups card, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how he feels about you compared to previous women that he's been with. So please be aware that this is a general reading, only take what resonates, leave the rest, and you can keep this man in mind while I shuffle your cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this main indicator card as your card. I'm going to pull one card for the previous woman. Then I'm going to kind of like pull some cards for the previous woman, pull some cards for you, and I'll tell you which ones are which so that it doesn't get confusing. So, spirit guides of pile 1, please tap me into the energy of the man on their mind. And please show me how he feels about pile 1 compared to previous women. So, the first thing I see for you guys is this comparison metaphorically. So, I see you being like his morning coffee. He needs you. He can't go without you. He needs you to get the day started. And the previous women he's been with are kind of like beer or alcoholic drinks. He doesn't exactly need it. It was fun in the moment, but maybe not the best for him, like consistently. Maybe they were like fun once in a while, but it stopped getting fun, especially if he was like too involved with them. Just like if we get too involved with like certain substances or alcohol, it can start off as fun and end not quite fun. So that's how I'm analyzing that metaphor here. So let's just get a card for her or the previous woman. We have the Devil reverse. So with you being the Queen of Cups, he kind of feels like you are there to support him. You're kind of showing up as like kind of wifey material. He feels like you are always there for him, you always support him, you care about him deeply, more than these other women have. Maybe these other women kind of just had fun with him, but he didn't truly feel cared for in an emotional way. And he feels more attached to you than he feels to the previous woman he's been with. The Devil reverse can be about sexuality, all those things. So maybe those previous relationships of his were maybe just based off superficial attraction, based off pleasure, fun, but didn't really have anything serious to stick to it, right? So with the Devil being reversed, I feel like these women from his past left him feeling unfulfilled, unsupported, kind of was based more on, again, like superficial attraction, infatuation, fantasy, or temporary charm that may have not actually like come into fruition. He may have also been in situations where these women didn't want to change or didn't want to like grow with him. It was kind of like fun in the beginning, and then when it came time to like make serious commitments or to move further along or to grow, they just weren't budging. Perhaps they couldn't see their own flaws, they couldn't apologize, they just were very stubborn. Whereas you are kind of focused on the bigger picture. You're focused on not only committing to this person, but kind of, how I said before, being there for them, showing them empathy, showing them a lot of nurturing. And so he feels like you're truly there, growing with him, and you kind of just have pure intentions towards him, that he feels like he can be more loyal to you. He feels like he can trust you more. He feels like you're overall softer in a way, whereas these women he was with before were maybe more harsh and not as supportive, is what I'm getting. They were maybe like more tough emotionally or more stubborn, whereas you're more focused on like building together. If you guys have conflict, it's kind of like, yes, you can admit where you went wrong, or you can kind of see his side of the story, he can see your side of the story. You're more so focused on coming back together rather than being stubborn, and you get what I mean. I don't know how to explain that, but I hope you get what I mean. So the previous women, I'm going to pull 3 cards for them. So we have the Sun. So he had fun with them. He was happy at that moment in time. Ace of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles. So he felt that these women were fun, but that they were maybe a little bit more immature. He felt like he had to maybe invest a lot of his time, energy into these women, and didn't necessarily see it leading to anything long term. So it's kind of like, why would I waste my resources on someone I don't see a future with? There was some kind of spark there with these previous women, and like I said, he was happy. He was, leaning into pleasure and kind of like hedonism with them, if that makes sense. But there was nothing truly fulfilling or long-term here. Spirit is kind of comparing them to, like, I don't know why these food references are coming up. Spirit is kind of comparing them to a sweet. They're yummy in the moment, but they don't sustain you. Like, they don't fully make you full, if that makes sense. So that just means that he wasn't fully satisfied. He wasn't fully fulfilled in these connections, even though there was pleasure or hedonism there. Okay, let's pull 3 cards for you, and then compare the two. Okay, then we have the Emperor, which is about, in this case, I'm reading this as stability and setting foundation, since it's the number 4. We have the 5 of Cups showing up reverse. And we have the 4 of Swords showing up reverse. Okay, so I feel like when he met you, he had this big wake-up call that, you know, if I don't start, you know, taking relationships seriously, then I might not, you know, have the kind of love life I want by a certain age. There's something about him having this big wake-up call that he needs to settle down and start taking life more seriously and start taking love more seriously. Because yes, while he had fun in these previous relationships, it wasn't leading to anything satisfactory or long-term. And it kind of led him to wake up and realize that maybe he needs to go for a different type of woman, or maybe he needs to really think about what he wants in love instead of why am I saying facing? Maybe he had to face himself, but I was gonna say chasing temporary highs. There's also something about him feeling like he needs to heal certain wounds around trust. I think that he struggled to trust before he met you, maybe based off previous experiences he's been through, either with women or just relationships in general. I just see a lot of trust issues here, and him realizing that in order to find that love, I need to open up my heart and let somebody in. I can't be so restless and anxious all the time about, like, who I can trust. So it's kind of like he had this mindset of, I just need to find a good woman so that I don't need to worry about whether I can trust her or not. So something about that's coming through, and him like intentionally seeking a woman with qualities like you do or like you have. Okay, and I'm seeing this energy of you kind of keeping him on his toes. He never fully feels like he should relax or get comfortable. Not that he's not relaxed with you, but it's kind of like he never wants to get comfortable and take this for granted. He feels like he needs to put in a lot of effort. He needs to build with you, and he wants to have that stability with you, or that long-term foundation that keeps growing. I think that with you, he's finally facing his disappointments of the past. He's finally facing himself, his emotions. Perhaps before he was very detached from his emotions, and you've helped him maybe get in touch with that part of himself. Compared to the previous woman where, like I said, he just had fun with them, but it wasn't like truly teaching him anything or helping him grow in any way. It was kind of just keeping him stuck at the same level, whereas your love kind of pushes him to grow, kind of pushes him to face himself, his own emotions, and even like look at himself and his own wrongdoings and see where he can grow and be better as a person. So let's get some more cards. So you feel like a genuine choice of the heart. He sees more depth and a real spiritual and romantic alignment here. He feels more committed and aware of the importance of choosing carefully. So them, we have the 9 of Swords showing up reverse. We have the High Priestess. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the High Priestess can sometimes represent trust. But with the 9 of Swords next to it, it can represent knowing deep down that I can't trust this person. Spirit is kind of comparing it to friendships I've had. I don't want to make this about me, but Spirit is comparing it to it. So I've had friendships that kind of were like fun, but those friends were never there for me. And that kind of matches up to what I said with you. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, it's reminding me of that. So there's something here about him knowing deep down that these relationships weren't truly right for him. You know that gut feeling you have when you know that it's not going to work out, even if you try force it to work out, even if you try control the situation, deep down, you know that it's maybe not the connection for you. He kind of had that gut feeling with them. And nothing against his exes or previous women he's been with, but I feel like he just had that feeling and it was right. Okay, so with the Nine of Swords reverse, he struggled to trust them. He struggled to fully feel safe and almost comforted in the relationship, like secure in the connection. He didn't feel secure, right? I feel like the women of his past are in the past and he's not looking back to them in any way. He's not looking back like missing them or anything. He feels like his heart is with you and he's focused on now with you and not the past. And that's confirmed by the Six of Cups at the back of the deck upright, which means that he feels that they're in the past and he isn't thinking about them anymore. Whereas if the Six of Cups had to be reversed, that would be like reminiscing about the past, not being able to get over a past relationship. That's how I read the cards, at least. Everybody reads differently. That's how I read the cards. So there's something about these. So I almost also get this feeling from the Queen of Pentacles that these women that he was with previously, yes, they were beautiful, and yes, you're beautiful too. You're all beautiful in your own ways. But they would kind of want his money. That's kind of what I'm intuitively feeling with the Queen of Pentacles. Like maybe very materialistic women, if that makes sense. Like where they constantly want him to buy them things, constantly want him to buy them gifts, stuff like that. And of course, you know, to each their own. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like, you know, maybe that wasn't the right match for him because maybe he felt like he didn't want to do all those things I'm getting. But there are some men that do want to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that's kind of just what I see. It's like he kind of felt used, and he kind of felt like, okay, if I'm not spending money on you, would you even want me? So for you, we have the Nine of Cups showing up reverse. We have the Empress. And we have the Page of Swords showing up reverse, with the Queen of Wands reverse at the back of the deck. Okay, so I'm hearing romantic compatibility. So maybe he feels as though he has more compatibility with you. You're more of a match to him. And that makes sense because he came up as the Emperor. You're coming up as the Empress. And those are divine counterparts in the tarot. They go together in the tarot. So maybe he feels like you are kind of like his perfect match in a way. Like you kind of tick a lot of the boxes for what he's looking for in his dream woman. But with the Nine of Cups showing up reverse, this can represent not feeling like we're truly getting everything we've wanted or expected. And this can show up in the circumstances. Like, let's say I'm really hoping that we have this type of future together and maybe we break up. Maybe some of you are asking about a guy you separated with or separated from, and he wanted this to work out with you, but it didn't. Maybe for some of you, it's like there's many things in your relationship that fulfill him, but maybe like you tick a lot of the boxes for him, but maybe not all of it. And he shouldn't expect you to tick all of it because I was watching Aphrodite and a reading he was doing, and I think he mentioned something about like a dream woman and how sometimes when like a man sees a woman as his dream woman, when that kind of fantasy or facade falls apart, maybe he sees certain flaws. I think it was him reading on the Wizard Liz. Um, Maybe that kind of fantasy falls apart and he sees like her flaws or stuff like that. So I feel like he's realized that he shouldn't put that expectation on you to be perfect, to fulfill all his expectations. Maybe he has certain expectations he hasn't exactly expressed with the Page of Swords reverse, and that can lead to disappointment that he's not addressing in this connection. That doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. It just means that he needs to communicate his expectations better so that that can be fulfilled, so that he can feel like he's getting more of what he wants in this connection. It's not that he doesn't get anything he wants in this connection. It's just that he feels like he shouldn't be looking for that fulfillment in a relationship. He should be finding it within. And I think that's the difference here. With you, there's real growth here where he's come to that wake-up call or conclusion. Whereas with these previous women, it was kind of like, again, he was chasing highs. He was looking to fill some kind of void within him. But now he's realizing that he needs to feel worthy. He needs to feel that fulfillment and happiness within him and not expect to receive that from a woman. Does that make sense? Because you're not going to find happiness from somebody else. And I think with you, he's grown to a point where he can realize those things and he can become and grow into a better partner for you. He sees you as someone that he would want to bring home to his parents, he would want to have children with, because the Emperor and the Empress are both cards of like mother and father energy. So maybe he sees you as the woman he would want to have kids with, marry, all those things. Like I said, wifey material is coming through here. He is so in love with your heart. You have this beautiful heart. You're so nurturing. And I think he sees you kind of stepping into the self-love energy, which he absolutely loves. He feels just incredibly nurtured by you. And he feels like he is getting most of what he wants in this connection. Like I said, it's not that you don't give him anything he wants. He's getting most of what he wants. You tick a lot of the boxes of what he's looking for. Maybe there are a few things that aren't perfect, but he's happy. And that's kind of what I see here as the general message, that he's not necessarily looking elsewhere. He's not like looking elsewhere for another woman or like his perfect woman or whatever, because maybe he knows perfect doesn't exist, but you kind of feel close to a perfect match, right? So there's just something here about like not being curious towards other women, just staying present here and enjoying what we have right now. So I'm gonna pull one or two, let's pull two more cards for the last card, Strength and Two of Cups reverse for the previous woman. Then we have the Four of Cups reverse and the Ten of Cups reverse. So he did have strong connections with them, I can't deny that. But he felt like he was pulling most of the weight. Most of the kind of weight was on him to fulfill all those expectations. Maybe he had to put in a lot of the effort. He had to be the one doing everything in those connections. He maybe felt like it was a little bit one-sided with the Two of Cups reversed, like he was giving his all but they weren't really putting in any effort, because with the Strength card I'm noticing how this man's kind of holding up the earth and it looks very heavy for him. So maybe the expectations on him were very heavy and he didn't feel like it was a strong connection, but maybe he felt like it was kind of one-sided and he liked them more than they liked him. And so with the Two of Cups reversed, this can represent separation and this feeling of like the connection's going to sever or separate no matter what we do. This feeling of like, how I said before, we know this connection's not right for us in the first place. We know that deep down. And when the separation does happen, it's kind of like he felt a relief, because he felt like maybe he wanted something more reciprocal, less one-sided, and maybe he felt like deep down he always knew it was going to come to an end. Maybe there were certain problems in their connections that he felt like were a deal breaker, or maybe He knew that it was always going to end because of these things. Maybe they had the strength to endure those connections, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't worth it. Now with you, he does want a serious relationship, and he does want to work on himself and grow as a person. He does have pure intentions towards you, is what I see. And he does feel like he can never get bored of this connection. He's been with you probably for some time, or been around you for some time, and he feels like he can just never get bored of you. He never gets tired of you. He never needs space. He can spend so much time around you and just enjoy your presence. He kind of feels like you are a companion, a best friend. That's how he feels about you. He wants something serious and committed, but I think that he also needs to focus on looking within and finding that internal happiness within without trying to expect this relationship to fulfill all aspects of his life. Because you can't be everything for him. I mean, like, you can't fulfill every aspect of his life. He needs other things in his life that are going to fulfill him too, like good friendships, a good job, whatever it is. He can't put all of that on you. And I think he is realizing that. So he does feel fulfilled, but I think he's seeking internal fulfillment. And that's the main message I see here. So that is all I have for you. I really hope this reading resonated. Let me know how this resonated down in the comments below. Oh, and one last message. You don't have to feel insecure about these past women. I feel like he chose you, and he chose you for a reason. And whenever you feel insecure and you feel like, what did these other women have? Kind of see it as he chose you for a reason. He intentionally chose you. So sit with that feeling and kind of embrace it. So yeah, that's all I have for you. Can't wait to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hi, Pal 2. If you chose the Super 7 Crystal and the Moon card, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how he feels about you compared to other women, compared to his previous women he's been with. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. And this moon card is going to be your card representing you. I'm going to pull one card representing these previous women he's been with. And then I'm going to pull cards representing them, you, and I'll mention which is which so that it doesn't get confusing. So you can keep this man in mind while I shuffle the cards to get his energy specifically. I was seeing anime for some reason, like anime characters. I don't know if some of you have a man that is interested in that. I don't think that will resonate with everyone. So spirit guides of Pal 2, please tap me into the energy of the man on their mind and his feelings for them compared to previous women he's been with. So show me the previous woman he's been with. One card. We have the Death card. So the Death card can be about endings and transformations. So he feels like these women from his past, like, things ended for a reason with them, and there's no going back to that. These connections taught him a lot about himself, helped him transform as a person, but they're of the past. He's mourned them, he's let go of them. It's no longer like in his energetic signature or destiny to kind of like feel compelled to go after that. So that is, I'm just basically getting a straightforward message that it's over. He doesn't feel anything for them anymore. Maybe he used to in the past, but he doesn't anymore. Now with the moon, this can relate to deeper feelings. But I feel like he kind of keeps it a little bit hidden. He doesn't always overtly like express those deeper feelings he has for you. He feels like you are a major part of his life, and he feels a lot more sensitive around you. Like, if these exes of his had to do something, he probably wouldn't care. But if you had to do something to hurt him, like, it would hurt 100 times more because of how much more he's attached to you. I don't feel like he's attached to his exes at all right now. Maybe he was in the past, but right now he's not. There's this feeling of new beginnings, you being like a breath of fresh air to him, you being like the type of woman he's never experienced before. You're very different from past women he's been with. He feels extremely connected to you, and I feel like you guys have some kind of spiritual or telepathic connection. He just feels connected to you and synced with you on a certain level where you guys could like kind of complete each other's sentences or say the same thing at the same time. It just feels like I want to do everything with you. I'm invested in you. And that's kind of how he feels about you right now. So let's see. I'm going to pull 3 cards for his exes, the previous woman he's been with. So show me how he felt or how he feels about them compared to pile 2, but show me 3 cards for the previous woman. So we have Page of Swords reverse. We have the Page of Pentacles. And we have the 10 of Cups reverse. So I think with his previous exes, maybe he met them at a time where he was kind of really young. It was kind of like puppy love, young love. Kind of like you think you know what love is, but you don't really know what love is looking back on it. That's how he feels looking back on it. Like, we were young, we were dumb, we made stupid decisions, we were immature, we thought we knew what love was, but maybe we didn't. That's the whole vibe I'm getting from these 3 card combinations just intuitively. Now let's just see what comes up for you and compare the 2. So 3 cards representing pile 2 for his feelings for them. So we have the Queen of Wands showing up reverse. We have the 4 of Cups showing up reverse. And I feel this card. We have the 8 of Wands reverse. And I'm seeing the Magician card in my mind's eye. So he does want to create a life with you. And he does desire to do that with you. He feels the need to not rush into things with you. He feels like now that he's older and he's more mature and he's learned these lessons, maybe it was necessary for his growth, that now he can take things much more seriously. Maybe his past connections weren't that serious. Maybe they felt that way in the moment, but looking back on it, there was some kind of like emotional maturity there still. But now that he's grown as a person, he can kind of be a lot more serious about this. He can be a lot more emotionally invested in this connection, and he can take his lessons from the past and apply it to this connection so that things are better now. Because he felt like he dealt with things immaturely in his past connections. He felt like he was too young to know how to actually deal with those situations. But now with that knowledge, he can do better. He feels like with you, there's some kind of strong spark there. And it not only is there, but it continues to grow and grow by the day, which he's incredibly surprised by. Because usually you feel a spark with someone and maybe after some time it dies out. But with you, that spark just keeps growing. You continue to surprise him each day. And for a lot of you, I get that this is the longest relationship he's been in, or the most serious relationship he's been in. You're kind of like comfort to him. He feels like really cuddly and affectionate with you. I just feel like this cuddly bear energy, like I just want to cuddle all the time in this energy. So maybe he feels that way with you. Like he just wants to be affectionate with you. He just wants to show you love all the time through physical touch. Maybe you fulfill one of his love languages, if that is physical touch. So I see this energy of, again, like him not wanting to rush things, him wanting to take things slowly, truly like embrace the moment with you. It's not that he's not thinking about commitment or the future. He is. But I think he kind of wants to slow down and not rush things so that he can take you seriously, so that he can focus on now. Because the present moment is so important to him, like just spending quality time with you and appreciating these moments he has with you now. because right now is like where you're building towards that. Sometimes he does feel insecure. He does feel like, what if he's not good enough? What if there's someone better out there for you? What if you find somebody that you're more attracted to, or that, has more than him, or is just better than him in any way? He sometimes feels extremely insecure, and he sometimes feels like he needs your validation, or needs kind of like, not necessarily compliments from you, but like reassurance and maybe an ego boost, or maybe validation. And I think when he knows that like other men desire you, it does make him feel very insecure. Maybe you're someone that's very attractive and you're noticed a lot, and I guess he does feel lucky to have you, but at the same time it does make him feel insecure, and does make him feel like, what if he can't reach your expectations or your desires, or what if he's just not good enough? And I don't think this not good enough wound is coming out because of you. I don't think it's anything you've done. I think it's been there, but I think he's finally starting to maybe address it, and maybe it's being triggered in this connection. So we have the Empress for the previous woman. Then we have the Star. Respect is a big thing for him. That's like one of the most important things for him in his romantic connections. And he feels like you give that to him. But maybe he feels like these exes of his didn't. I know we have very positive cards here, but that's just what I feel intuitively. So what I see in the cards, I feel like he had a lot of hope with these previous women he was with. He felt like, things could work out. You know what I'm seeing? When you're a kid, or like, not necessarily a kid, but like, let's say you're a teenager. Maybe these were like really young loves, like high school loves or college loves or something like that, like some kind of puppy love. And it's like we're dreaming about the future, but it's not necessarily grounded in reality. It's kind of like we're dreaming, we're almost being naive, we're almost like being like, oh, I'm gonna marry this person, but then things don't exactly work out that way. So yes, he was happy in his previous connections, and he did have that sense of like hope and joy of like, oh, we could get married, we could, have this kind of commitment, but it didn't work out that way, and I don't think he regrets it. He feels grateful that he had those experiences, because it taught him a lot about love and himself. But he also looks back on it now and thinks, okay, maybe it's best it didn't work out that way. Maybe it was just not necessarily naivety, but like his young heart almost like fluttering and speaking to him, and falling in love for the first time. That's kind of how it felt. Then with you, we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is more grounded. This is more rooted in something real and stable. And there is hope here, but it's not like this hope that's not rooted in anything like real, It's like, it's kind of like with his past exes, there was hope there. It was like, okay, I want this, I want this to happen, but then there's that disappointment that comes with that, where it doesn't work out the way we want it to. So with you, we have the Two of Cups reversed and the Queen of Swords. So with his exes, I see some kind of conflict in my mind's eye. I see them like fighting. I see them being immature. I see them being petty, but still having, again, like that young love, that butterfly kind of love, like butterflies in your stomach kind of love. Anyways, with you come across as someone that inspires him, not just excites him. There's a sense that you're different because he doesn't feel the need to play games with you. And again, like, he's not coming at this like from an immature perspective where he wants to fight and be petty and all those things. You feel like someone he can trust deeply. And he feels like the conversations with you mentally stimulate him. He feels like he can really get along with you in a way. Like you're almost like a companion or best friend to him, not just someone he sees romantically, like a companion, a best friend. That's kind of the energy I'm getting in terms of his feelings. He feels like he can talk to you about anything. He doesn't have to hide much from you, and he doesn't want to. But there's this kind of feeling of, I can tell you my secrets. I can open up to you emotionally. Maybe I'm not always comfortable with talking about my feelings, but with you, I want to. There's this feeling of him falling short and you being patient with him, not getting angry at him, which he really respects and appreciates and admires. I feel like he had something traumatic happen to him. I don't feel like this will resonate with everybody, but I feel like he's, trigger warning, maybe been through some kind of physical abuse, because I see someone like bracing as if someone's about to hit them. So I don't know if he's been in an abusive relationship or if a parent was kind of like that to him, but there's something about him like bracing to get hurt. If it's not him going through something traumatic like that, then maybe it's like him bracing to get hurt, but then you don't end up hurting him. And then he's like surprised by that. Like, it feels like, you know, when you're in a healthy relationship for the first time and you expect them to hurt at you, or to hurt you, shout at you, like react in a harsh way, but then they don't. And they're patient with you and they're giving you grace. And it's like, wow, I didn't expect this. Is this what healthy love is? It's kind of like that feeling that's coming through for me clairvoyantly. So yeah, again, like he feels like he can talk with you about anything. He feels like the conversations with you just flow. You guys have strong chemistry there and strong attraction there, but it's rooted in something real and stable that actually does have a future to it. I see him picking you in a crowd of other women. Like, if there were other women there, he would pick you. That's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. Though, I wanted to clarify this Two of Cups reverse. So we have the Three of Pentacles reverse. Okay, one concern of his is that you guys can be very different. Maybe you have different opinions about how to deal with things. Maybe sometimes when you have conflicts, it's hard to see eye to eye. Maybe there are some concerns about incompatibilities here. And the thing is, like, not everybody's going to be the most compatible all the time. But how are we going to deal with that? Like, are we going to make it work? Can we make it work? That's kind of like what's going through his head. And the thing is, like, we don't always have to be on the same page or agree about everything. But compromise is important in relationships. And as long as you two can learn to work together as a team and not let this lead to a separation, then I feel like he's happy. That's the only concern of his that I see here in the energy of, like, what if we separate because we're too different, or we don't see eye to eye, or we can't work as a team. So that's truly important to him, that you can find ways to put your differences aside and make it work and compromise and respect each other. And even if you have different beliefs, different opinions on the way things should be done, it's just about respecting each other. And even if you don't agree, agreeing to disagree and just respecting each other. Like I said, respect's really important to him, and you do give that to him, which he feels happy with. So then we have the Knight of Pentacles. I'm feeling the energy of betrayal. So one of his exes could have betrayed him. The Tower. And the Knight of Wands. Okay, I feel like he had a specific ex. I know a lot of you don't want to hear this. I don't know if I should say this, but I want to be truthful. If you don't like it, you can skip over it. Sorry. I just laughed because I feel kind of uncomfortable saying this. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm laughing at you, but I sometimes laugh when I'm uncomfortable or nervous. Anyways, Knight of Wands here makes me think that there was an ex he had that kind of like he had a very sexual connection with. Maybe it didn't last long. Maybe it was just like purely fun and sex. Didn't really go anywhere, but that's what I see. Anyways, I also see this energy of like some exes he had that were maybe like lasting a little bit longer, like the relationship lasted a little bit longer, and there was consistency, and he thought he was going to like make it through with them till the end, but things here ended unexpectedly with the tower. It's almost like it ended in chaos, like things were going well and everything was fine, and all of a sudden things just abruptly ended. But the tower can talk about divine intervention sometimes, and sometimes like what's not meant for us will fall apart, or what was not built on stable foundations will fall apart. But now with the Two of Pentacles, we're actually building something on a stable foundation. It's not based on naivety or young love. It's actually rooted in something real and strong with you. So that's kind of how I'm reading this based on the other cards surrounding. So we have the Eight of Cups here for you. We have the Six of Cups. And we have the Three of Swords. Okay, so he is really afraid of you leaving, of getting hurt, of being just a man from your past. There's something about you where you still give him that feeling of puppy love, but again, it's just like more grounded with that Two of Pentacles that came out. I feel like if you guys had to break up, he wouldn't be able to get over you. With the World reversed at the back of the deck, he wouldn't be able to let you go, even if you left. And I think he's so afraid of losing you. He's so afraid of getting hurt. He's so afraid of you leaving, especially for somebody else. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. That's a fear of his. He feels those butterflies with you as well, but again, it's like more grounded. It's more real. It's more rooted in reality. I don't mean to be repetitive, but that's what's coming through here. The love with you also feels innocent. It also feels like cute in a way. But again, he's so scared of getting hurt. He wants to do things right with you. He wants to treat you right. I don't think he wants to hurt you either. But I just see this fear of his, like, of things falling apart, of you leaving. Like, he's so afraid of that. Let me pull two lost cards for both you and his exes. So, this is his ex, the World reverse. And the Ace of Wands. And you? We have the Two of Wands reverse. With the Page of Cups reverse. Okay, so I think at the time when they broke up, it was hard for him to get over his exes. Maybe he's just that type of guy that he struggles to move on, like once a connection ends. But remember before, like when we started the reading, when I said the Death card means that he doesn't feel anything towards them right now? That's confirmation that even though back then he felt like he couldn't get over them, he was attached, maybe he's just that kind of guy that takes time to move on. Like, not every guy's gonna like move on fast, you know what I mean? Right now, he feels like it's over. He doesn't feel anything anymore. He's gotten over it. But back then, it was like his whole world was crushed and fell apart. I think part of his abandonment wound comes from his past. Because the Six of Cups is here next to the Eight of Cups. He doesn't want to just be like a memory of the past to you. He wants to be your future. That is how he feels right now. There's a lot of sexual attraction between you and him. He feels like you're exactly his type. But there's something soft between the two of you. even though he's scared of getting hurt and he has a little bit of a guard up, he wants to let that down with you, and he wants to take this risk of falling in love. He doesn't want to be alone, but that isn't what's keeping him with you. I feel like this guy is kind of like a lover boy deep down, even if he doesn't show it. And even if he doesn't show how attached he is to you, he really is. Like, if you guys had to break up, maybe he would not show how attached he is or show how he can't move on, but deep down he would feel that way. For some of you, he would act like he doesn't care, even though he does deep down. But we're not going to focus on that because we don't want to think of this in a doom and gloom way of it is going to happen, but I feel like he just doesn't want to lose you. That's basically what I see. He feels like with you, he has to mature. He has to take things seriously. There's almost like this energy of, I need to do things right. Like, if I don't treat this woman like the blessing she is, then God, the universe, is going to take her away from me. So it's almost like he's seeing you as a blessing. He's seeing it like, I don't know if this man's spiritual or religious. I don't know why it's coming through like this, but it's kind of like he sees you as a blessing. He sees it as we were meant to meet. Like, something was fated here. I think you and him also have some kind of past life connection, which makes him feel so comfortable around you. It makes the connection even more familiar. I feel like you guys have some kind of soulmate connection, or at least that's how he feels. And he feels like he's kind of codependent on you, like, but not in a bad way, but it's kind of like attached to the hip, like, you're my other half kind of feeling. Like, I wouldn't make sense without you, just like salt wouldn't make sense without pepper. Like, that's the feeling I'm getting between you two. With his exes, there was attraction there too, but things just didn't work out. And yes, at the time, it took him a long time to get over it, but now he is. And he's grateful for the growth he had. Now he's kind of moved on to something new with you. Your connection is extremely playful, and even if he hasn't like exactly made plans for the future, he is planning it in his head, and he does think about it and think what's next for us. But I think he is seeking change within the relationship, change within himself, or some kind of change. I'm not sure what that's about exactly. Let me see if I can channel about that. I feel like he kind of wants to do something where he almost like spices things up with you. I feel like a lot of you have been with this man for a long time. And I feel like he wants to plan something to almost like bring you two closer together again. Not that you guys have drifted apart, because you guys have always been like attached to each other to the hip, like two peas in a pod, but it's not that things have gotten boring, because the Four of Cups showed up reversed, so I don't think he could ever get bored of you. But it's almost like, you know, when you've been in a relationship for long and you kind of like want to plan something special, like maybe a trip somewhere or something to kind of like just spice things up, or maybe you want to try something new in a bedroom or something like that's coming through. So that is where I'll leave your reading. If you want more videos on his feelings, you can sign up to my membership. So yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time. Hi Pal 3, if you chose the Mookite Crystal and the Ten of Swords card, then this is your reading. We're going to be taking a look at how he feels about you compared to his previous woman he's been with. So please be aware that this is a general reading. Only take what resonates, leave the rest. You can keep this man in your mind while I shuffle your cards. So this card's going to represent you. I'm going to pull one card to represent his previous connections, and I'm going to pull different cards for you and them, and I'll tell you which is which so that it doesn't get confusing. So with you guys, I kind of feel very dreamy in your energy. I almost just feel like, you know, when you're falling in love, and I know we have the Ten of Swords here, but this is what I feel energetically. I'll analyze this card in a moment. But what I feel here is kind of like this feeling of like, you know, when you fall in love and life just feels so colorful, and, you know, songs feel even more loving than they did before, and you're listening to romance songs and it just feels like you're in this other world. It feels like you're almost in a fairy tale. That's how I'm feeling in the energy. And I'm seeing Huda from Love Island when she's kind of like, oh, I wouldn't want someone to like say like, am I pretty to you? And then she kind of has that look in her eyes where she's like so dreamy. I'm seeing that. So there's some kind of like dreamy quality you give. This feeling of I'm kind of like floating. I feel on top of the world. I kind of feel high even though I'm sober. That is the kind of feeling you bring him. Like there's a skip in my step. Something about that showing up, which is so cute. Okay, so the card representing his exes is the Page of Wands reverse. So with you, the Ten of Swords here can represent an ending. Maybe some of you had an ending with this man and it hurt so much. That's for some of you. I heard the name Joshua for someone here. That won't resonate with everybody. And I heard authenticity. So maybe he felt like he could be himself fully with you. Like you just fully understood him and you could be yourself in front of him. Like whatever sides you showed to each other, it's like we could show the best sides of ourselves, the worst sides of ourselves, and there was no embarrassment or shame. There was just acceptance. Like you allow me to be myself, I allow you to be yourself. But with the Ten of Swords here, this could represent hurt and pain that's currently in your relationship, or betrayal or something. Take it how it resonates for you. Maybe something like that happened. Maybe he felt hurt by some of your actions. We'll see what cards we pull to get more context, but that's the basic meaning of the Ten of Swords card. So the Page of Wands reverse representing his exes. I feel like this is just what I feel energetically. There was something his exes did that triggered anger in him. I don't know what, but I'm feeling the energy of anger when I tap into this card. Even though this card doesn't mean anger, that's just what I'm feeling energetically. Okay, so at first, they kind of started out very optimistic, very in love. Things became very stale, is what I'm getting in their connection. There was this need to self-reflect in this connection for him. That was the purpose of this connection. I think this connection, or these connections from the past, maybe blocked his creativity. He kind of feared feeling all the happiness in those connections in case it was taken away. There was a tendency to play it safe in those connections. Maybe there were other women he could have gone for, but he played it safe going for those women. There was also a need to confront his fears in these connections. And although it started off happy and optimistic, there was some kind of like block or stagnancy or plateau within the connection I'm hearing. Maybe there was like this picture perfect relationship on Instagram, on social media, in the reputation, but behind the scenes, other things were happening that weren't so picture perfect. That's just what I'm getting intuitively. He doubted himself a lot in these connections and a lot of fear came up. There was some kind of lack of direction here, stalled beginnings. He didn't really know where these connections were going. Okay, so we're going to pull 3 cards for his exes and then 3 cards for you. So the first ones are his exes. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Four of Swords reverse. And we have the Ace of Swords. The Six of Swords reverse wanted to come out. which I'm not going to take it because I'm only pulling 3 cards, which can represent things just not changing. Stagnancy, how I said before, like things just plateauing in the connection. Maybe there was an ex of his that he wanted this ex to change so badly, but this ex never changed for him. Maybe he wanted things to change in this connection of his from the past, whatever connection this was, if it was multiple one. But things never changed. And maybe he realized that I'm waiting for change that isn't going to happen. Kind of like this bittersweet feeling of, I love you, but I have to leave because things just aren't changing. Things aren't moving in the direction I wanted to. So it's kind of like I have to take this new beginning even though I don't want to. I have to end things because things aren't moving forward. That's how he felt with his exes. There was a lot of overthinking, a lot of stress here in his past connections, even though he wanted it to be beautiful and he wanted it to be great. It just... there was like something missing, this hole in his heart that I'm feeling. These women in his life were grounded. They were stable. He felt like they were good for him on paper. But when it came to the actual feelings he was feeling, it's almost like there was so much stress, so much overthinking, so much of this feeling of like, am I wasting my time? Does that make sense? That's what I see. So there were underlying problems that he was hesitant to address in these connections. It looked perfect on paper, but wasn't exactly. 2 of Cups reverse, representing yours. The Strength card. Then we have the King of Wands. So you are kind of his passion right now. He's putting all his energy into you, all his energy into the connection right now. And it's kind of like his passion project, your relationship. Not that your relationship is a project or that it's like a temporary thing. That's not what I necessarily see. That's not what I mean. But I feel like right now, he's putting all his effort and all his focus on this connection to really build it up into something good. Because the thing is, if we invest our time, our energy into something we love, into something we're passionate about, it's only bound to grow. So that's where his mindset is at the moment. He feels like you kind of just set his soul, his heart on fire. You speak to his heart in some way. He feels very sexually attracted to you. He feels like you fulfill him sexually. Feels satisfied in the bedroom. Okay, I see that. And he feels like you guys have this strong connection that is unbreakable. I'm hearing the word inseparable. You guys are inseparable. But there are challenges or problems in your connection too. And what he's realizing here is no connection is truly perfect. Maybe his exes looked perfect on paper, but when he saw those underlying problems or challenges, maybe he was willing to deal with it, but since things just never changed, that was leading to ending or the breaking of their connection. And he's hoping that doesn't happen with you, that you guys can overcome these problems or challenges together. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because the 9 of Wands is at the back of the deck, which can represent that. It's almost like he's wounded. Maybe not because of you, maybe because of these previous connections. Maybe he came into this connection wounded and hurt based off past betrayals or past hurts, if you didn't relate to that beginning message of you hurting him. Or maybe you did hurt him and there is joy but also pain in this connection, where he's kind of like wounded, but he still wants to continue going with you and fix whatever's here. Like, I don't know, some of you are in couples therapy, or if you're just like trying to fix certain things in your connection, but something about that's coming through. He does feel guarded. He does feel a lot more protective over his heart, but he wants to trust you with his heart. He doesn't want to like hold back with you, because it almost feels like I'm seeing this warrior, right? And this warrior is going to war. And this warrior is not afraid to go to war or to be defeated, because he knows that he's fighting for something. He's fighting for something right, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like I'm seeing like a soldier almost go to war and like fight for their country or fight for, some kind of cause, which is making me think that he wants to fight for this connection and he wants to trust you, because I'm seeing like that trust exercise where you fall into somebody's arms and trust that they're going to catch you. I want to clarify this Two of Cups reverse, what this is about. So we have the Nine of Swords reverse, which is fears, and we have the Knight of Swords, which can represent like being impulsive because of our fears when put together. Because the Knight of Swords is like quick action, not really thinking much of it, just going into it. So maybe sometimes because he fears the worst outcome, it's like he goes and does something he later regrets or later feels like maybe I shouldn't have done that. Or this could be about I need to take quick action so that my fears don't come true. So something about that's coming through. I'm going to put these cards back, but he definitely fears the same thing happening that happened with his exes. So I guess you can take that information and make it not happen. Reassure him that his fears aren't going to happen, that we can make this work, that we are inseparable. Okay, when I say we, I'm in your energy, in his energy. Okay, so let's pull some more cards. So I hear the word resentment with his exes. So there's some kind of like underlying resentment that he still feels there, based off that past hurt and pain. It's like the Five of Cups reverse represents past hurt and pain. I feel like he hasn't fully addressed it. Maybe he has healed from some of it, but hasn't healed from all of it. So it's kind of like he came into this connection wounded, not fully healed. But that doesn't mean that he's still stuck on his exes. It could just mean that he's still hurt over whatever happened. And that's okay. It takes time to process and heal from, but I feel like he does need to process it, and there's some kind of urgency there where he does need to look at that and not just push it to the side. But that sadness has turned into resentment and has turned into anger. I don't know why, but he's just holding some kind of anger there towards his exes. So next we have the Sun. And we have the Three of Pentacles reverse. So I'm hearing this song by Beyonce, Why Don't You Love Me? So maybe he felt kind of unloved in his previous connections, but he also felt like there were major incompatibilities there. They couldn't see eye to eye. Even though they tried to make it work and tried to fix the problems there, things just weren't changing, and after a while it got tired. So I'm seeing someone almost just drag their feet. Like, at one point we were happy, but now it's like we're tired, we're worn down, we're just like, is this even worth it anymore? And I feel like there was some kind of mutual conclusion or mutual decision that it's best to just end things here. Like, it's better for both of us, okay? For some reason in your energy, I'm tasting ice cream. So maybe you're like sweet to him, like sugar, like ice cream. But he doesn't want the ice cream to melt before he gets to finish it all. So maybe he's wondering, like, even though he feels inseparable from you, he's wondering, like, will this have an ending? Will this have like a rough ending with a tower where things just end chaotically like it did? Maybe it didn't end chaotically in his previous situation, but it felt like there was a lot of chaos leading up to it. But he's just scared of like things ending abruptly, and you guys not being as inseparable as he feels you are. He feels like he wants to improve things. He's not stuck with you. He actually chooses you and actually wants to be with you and actually wants to work on things in your connection. These problems you have with the Nine of Wands. I don't know if I mentioned Seven of Pentacles, reverse Tower, Nine of Wands. So he feels comfortable with you, but he doesn't exactly want to get too comfortable and just almost let things pass him by and not address these things that need to be fixed or worked on to improve the connection. It's kind of like he wants to feel like free from worries and doubts and free from these anxieties that make him think, what if things do end? What if I get hurt? But again, there's this feeling of like, I need to be strong. I can't like let this get to me. So there's something about him just genuinely wanting to work on things in your connection. But there may be some things he's avoiding, like working on within himself. He knows he needs to do that and he feels insecure about it. But it's kind of like something, there's some kind of like hesitancy to work on parts of himself, is what I see. Let's see what these problems are about, because I'm like not really sure how to interpret this. The High Priestess, Seven of Cups reverse. So the High Priestess can be about trust. Maybe there's like major trust issues for him. Even if he trusts you, maybe he doesn't trust what will happen next. Maybe he doesn't trust himself. Especially if there is impulsivity there. Maybe he doesn't trust the outcome, like that the outcome will work out. There's something about our dreams here. Like, let's say it's a situation where we have to choose between our dreams or the person, or something like that for someone here. Or maybe this is like many problems stacked up on one another that have kind of formed into a bigger problem. And it's kind of like he feels very connected to you, like on a spiritual, metaphysical level, emotional level, but it's almost like he feels this sense of urgency that we need to work on this now. And we need to learn from these things, even if it's hard. Because both of you have lessons to learn in this connection, and he knows that. But there's the sense of urgency and hesitancy at the same time. But that urgency is stronger than the hesitancy to work on himself. Like, he knows he has lessons to learn with you, and he doesn't want things to end in a bad way, where he knows that if he doesn't work on those things, it probably will. And he doesn't want that to happen. He wants to believe that you guys are inseparable. So, Seven of Wands. We have the Knight of Swords. Okay, a lot of people didn't like his exes, like his family or friends didn't agree that that was the right relationship for him, Six of Cups. And, you know, he was kind of rebellious about it. He was like, I don't really care about their opinions. But at the end of the day, when things did end, he kind of saw why they felt that way. It's kind of like, you know, when your friend is like, oh, I don't like your boyfriend or girlfriend because of this and this and this. I see these red flags. Or, you know, I just don't feel like you guys are going to work out. Sometimes we're blinded by love. And that's how he felt in those previous connections. Like, he was blind to love, but he could only see their perspective after they broke up. Where it's like, oh, I understand where you guys were coming from now. Those things you try to warn me about, I see it now. I didn't see it before, but I see it now. Something about that's coming through. I keep feeling the energy of betrayal. One of his exes betrayed him or hurt him, like, really badly. Okay, that caused him to have a huge guard up, to feel the need to almost, like, protect his heart, to almost, like, be really picky in love. And that was before he met you. I feel like these previous situations were just messy. Like, so full of drama. And although the ending may have been like a mutual decision, I feel like both of them felt relief at the end of it, like when it was finally over. Like, oh, I can finally breathe, like I feel lighter. So something about that is coming through. There are regrets here. He looks back at like his past relationships and wishes he did things better. There's something about like, I wish I thought about the things I did before doing them. I wish I thought about these actions. I wish I thought about what I said before saying it. There's something about him learning to not just do things and think first. Something about learning from previous immaturities and like previous drama. He just felt like he learned a lot in this connection from the past, or these connections from the past, but they're in the past with the Six of Cups. Sometimes he does think back to it and wonder, like, could things have worked out? But then he looks at the problems they had and thinks like, no. I don't think he reminisces over them or feels nostalgic. I think he's fully over his exes, actually. So, for you, we have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords. We have the Knight of Pentacles. You have, like, some extra cards. The Four of Cups reverse, King of Cups reverse, and Five of Wands reverse. So, he doesn't want to fight with you. He doesn't want to have conflict. He doesn't want to have the same drama and messiness. He's over that. Like, so completely over that. Right now, he's focused on being consistent with you. He's focused on bettering your communication with each other and turning this energy around into something that actually lasts. Because he doesn't want his connection with you to end the same way it ended with his exes. He felt like that was like, this is like a test for him to see if he's truly learned his lessons from the past relationships. And if he doesn't pass his test, then he hasn't learned that lesson. That's how he feels right now. So there's this energy of like, I need to be consistent. I need to be mature. I need to like learn better communication. I need to learn to manage my emotions better, sort of regulate my emotions better, say things in a healthier way. So it's kind of like he wants to grow and mature right now. That's how he feels with you. He feels like he can never get bored of this relationship no matter how long you've been together. And he just sees you as the one he sees a future with. Like, even though you have these problems, he doesn't feel like he wants it to end. With his previous exes, it was kind of like deep down he wanted it to end and he felt relief when it ended. But with you, there's this feeling of like, we need to strengthen our relationship. I don't want this to end. So something about that's coming through here. And if it has already ended, then maybe he still wants this with you. Like, he's still hoping for a chance to work on things with you. Like this feeling of we'll always find our way back to each other, if that makes sense. So yeah, he wants something stable with you. He wants this mature love with you. He wants healthy boundaries, respect and communication. Just healthy communication in general. No drama, no messiness. Just a mature, healthy love. That's what he wants with you. He knows it's not going to be easy to forge and create, but that's what he wants. So I don't think he's going to give up on that. I think he's going to fight for this connection, and he wants to choose you with the Two of Swords at the back of the deck. So that is all I have for you. Let me know how this resonated down in the comments below. If you resonated with this and you want to see more readings on his feelings, you can join my membership. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time.